Hey creative friends, it's Gwen with you back today with another scrapbooking process video, and today I am using the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Boys Rule collection. So this is a boys collection, traditional boys collection, but I love it. It's been so fun to use. I am on the design team, so I have used this one a little bit, and today I am scrapbooking this little man in my life. His name is Ferris. And I'm using this cut file. It's a specialty cut file from my store Cut to You, and it's actually one of the Kit to You exclusive designs. And this page today that I'm making is the actual kit. So I thought it might be fun to show you one of the kits as I work with it and as I design it. And I've actually kept this video pretty true in terms of there are not a lot of editing. I had a few people ask me about my process and how long things take, and normally my layouts are quite long. This one was a little bit shorter, so I thought it would be a great one to not heavily edit and to show you in almost real time what my process is like. Okay, so onto the layout. Now I have gone ahead off camera and created my background there. I've used the mixed media paper from Zoe's collection, the Boys Rule one. Those of you who know me will know I'm not a mixed media girl. I can never get it right, so I really love these pattern papers that give you that look and feel without all that hard work, and they stay nice and flat because I do have a thing about them warping. It really bothers me. So I have also backed that cut file, and as you can see there, it does take up quite a bit of the page, which is really nice. It's sort of one element that once it's backed and in position, you've got a really good start on your layout. You've got some direction for where your page is going. I've just mixed and matched patterns from the collection to back the cut files there. Just randomly, I think there's maybe 3 or 4 papers there, and I've just alternated, just making sure that no 2 patterns are side by side. And for consistency, I have backed the star shapes there all in that dark navy. So I do want to pull some of the darker tones from this collection, and that's because, see, my photo there has quite a few dark places in it, and I think it really helps them to sort of stand out, helps the photo to stand out and draws the page together. So yeah, so that's my color scheme, that blue, that nice pop of green, and then the darker tones. So you can see this is coming together quite quickly. I have now attached my photo, so it's locked into position, and I feel like that's kind of the natural place for it to go. So it's sort of nestled between in a line between those top 2 stars, and your eye is going to be naturally drawn from the top of the page to the bottom of the page, and that's how I've designed it. That's how I've meant for it to be, and I find that helps. If I've got a plan for the page when I create the cut file, when I get to creating stage, it helps it all come together. So all of that hard work has been done for you in the kit, so that when you get them, you just have to follow along, and I've done all the fussing for you in advance. So yeah, so I'm really loving that. I'm thinking it's striking, but it's quite a simple design, and yeah, it's coming together really quickly. So I am just going to have a little flick through all of the embellishments that I have left. As I said, I have made, I want to say maybe 10 layouts with this collection, because it is from 2018. So I would have done quite a few pages for the Cocoa Vanilla blog, and I also taught classes with this collection at our local scrapbook shop. So yeah, so this is what bits and pieces that I have left. And I'm really just going to audition them all and have a little play and see how things fit together, with the idea that I'll be working along that from the top of the page down to the bottom of the page. Now I am also being a little bit mindful here. What I'm making sure of is that I'm balancing out the colors on the page. So I'm making sure that where there is, say there's a lot of blue at the top there, so I'm adding these green frames to balance that out. I'm also looking at where those darker elements are. So because we've got that 100% boy rectangular element there at the top, I want to balance it out at the bottom underneath the photo there. So there will be some darker elements that go down below the photo there to balance that out as well. So you can see now I'm up to the stage in the layout where I'm going to be working on my embellishment clusters. And for those, I do have a bit of a recipe in that I like to work with the medium-sized elements first, and that creates the base of the cluster. And then I like to work from there towards the smaller elements. Such as like a small sentiment sticker, and then to say something like an enamel dot. So I'm really working from largest to smallest up through my cluster. I'm also thinking about mixing and matching the types of elements that I have in each of the clusters. So I like to combine, say, die cut embellishments with, say, chipboard, and then maybe some stickers that have foam on them so that they're raised up a little bit, and then maybe a flare or some enamel. Just mixing and matching those elements helps to make the cluster interesting, and yeah, I really like the look of how they all kind of mix and match in together. So you can see now I have balanced out the black in the 100% boy element there with the black in the element that says adventure. So that helps between the stars and those two darker elements. It really helps guide your eye down the page. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying watching this full process without any edited out sections, so you can see how I place every single element and how I shuffle every single element and how the page comes together. I will also share a link somewhere here for my previous video, which was all about the Kit to You kits. So in that video I just went through what's in your kit, the idea behind the kits, and sort of my thinking for creating them. And yeah, it'll give you a better idea of how they work and yeah, how they're going to really help you. So I am taking my time here now to glue everything down, or tape everything down. And you can see there I've got tape on the left of that element and then foam on the right side. And that's because that piece overlaps the photo and the photo's got foam behind it. So I do make sure that all of my pieces sit level on the page. So when I'm working with my layers, sometimes that means that parts of the piece is going to be backed in foam and other parts are not, just so that everything sits, I want to say flat, but it's not flat, it's more level, that everything sits level on the page. I'm also being careful when I'm doing my gluing that I don't move the elements too much. So you'll see as I go, I just lift them up ever so slightly and then pop the Scotch Quick Dry adhesive underneath. And that's because I've gone to all this trouble to position them, and I do fuss with the elements a bit. So once I've found that perfect position and I'm ready to glue it into that perfect position, I don't like to lift it up because inevitably I'll just never get it back exactly as I had it. So yeah, I just find that for me it's easier for me to just ever so slightly lift up the element and then add the glue in underneath. Now I remember this bit, and I remember taking a little bit of time with the arrows for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because they were black. So they were, as I was saying earlier in the video about the heaviness of black and trying to balance out the black elements on the page. So I was being very mindful of that. But I was also mindful about where they were pointing or what they were pointing to, or were they leading the eye around the page in a way that I wanted them to. So yeah, I did kind of fuss with them a little bit because I wasn't quite sure on their placement. So yeah, you'll see that. But I do lock them in a moment. Oh, there's my cup of tea. Miss Caitlin actually brought that into me. I remember now. Yeah, it's good when your children are old enough to help make your life a bit easier. They can make you cups of tea as you're scrapbooking. Okie dokie. So yes, I've decided on the position of the arrows and I'm really liking that. And the page is almost done. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me today, my lovely creatives. I will leave you as always with a close-up of the layout in a moment here, and of course close-up still images at the end of the video. As always, I'm so thankful for you all, and if you like my layout, if you like the way that I create and I inspire you in any way, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.